We have arrived in... Wait, Hugo, where is this again?
Ninh Binh.
We're in Ninh Binh, staying at the Tam Hot Garden Resort.
Oh, look how big that snail is.
Where? Wait. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is huge. You need a hand for scale. Oh my god. So big. We went basically straight to the spa. We were really tired from our time in Hanoi. We went straight to the spa got to go in the sauna, and then we had a couples massage, and now we are going to supper, and we're only here for one night, and then we go to Phong Nha. We drive 7 hours tomorrow, go to Phong Nha, and we're going hiking and camping when we get there. So this is our chill time before our active couple of days. And it's the 1st of January. So cool in the gardens. On the way to the rims, they grow all of the vegetables for the kitchen and all the herbs and flowers and stuff. It's literally my dream place. It's so cool. We woke up quite late this morning, so we had to rush quickly to breakfast. I think we woke up at 9:10 and breakfast ended at past. So I also feel a little bit bunged up this morning. I'm actually not like a sleeper inner at home at all, but because of the time difference, the jet lag's working the other way, so that in the UK it's like still the middle of the night, or like 12 at night. No, yeah, like 2 AM when we're waking up. So it's working in our favour to allow us to sleep, but I think we're going to try and train ourselves to wake up a little bit earlier, because we have been waking up at like 10 or 11, which is really late for us. So this was our earliest rise, and it's not even that early. But tomorrow for a hike, I think we meet our guides at 7 AM, so that'll be a shock. But yeah, so beautiful. I think we're gonna go chill for a bit and then go for a bike ride, and then we're leaving at like 1 because we've got a really long drive to the next place. So beautiful here.
to the village Joshua's gonna wait. Yeah.
Been at the camp office for about, how long have we been here?
Everyone's leaving, so
Ages,
we need to go.
an hour and a half, and getting our stuff ready, and now we are heading to the bus where we travel for an hour and go to the beginning of the hike to get my outfit for the vlog.
Yeah, or even hunt animal. Bring back, earn money, take care.
Okay, we've started. It's actually taken a long time to like get going. We got to the office at 7:30 and it's 10:30 and we've just started, and we're hiking for a couple of hours. It's so beautiful, very, very damp. Here we go. Rooms everywhere.
Hey guys.
Hair/hat change because it's so sweaty, humid. So this is the new look. This river.
Yeah, rainforest.
Such as a
How far through are we? I think we probably have about an hour left of our hike today, which has been beautiful. And how are you feeling, Hugo? We're feeling good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Ridiculously beautiful. And yeah, can't really complain. Wet feet. But other than that, we are good. The rest of our crew. Also, our guides hike in sandals, which is pretty crazy, but I think it's so that their feet dry quickly when we go through the water.
What do they do?
The white formation is the Hang En Cave, which is the cave where we are camping. There. Woo, nearly there. We're going into the cave, feeling a little bit claustrophobic all of a sudden because it looks like quite a small little entrance, but let's see what we can do. Okay.
cows and buffalo here. Still.
Oh look, you can see. This is our campsite. We just came through the cave. That is where we came from, aka pitch black. A little bit scary, but it looks incredible. Wow.
Okay.
Your backpack and make sure it doesn't get wet.
And don't put in like too high, because then gonna get stuck and we have to cut.
Have your legs
double tent, small tent, any available, single tent.
Walk out that door. You're on your own, kid. But there is someone in your head.
Love this experience or not, but I love the trek, but I'm like not the biggest fan of caves, I don't think. But it is insane, like the campsite, and we got here and a few people went swimming, and then they've like set up these basically homemade steam rooms, and they put lots of essential oils and lemongrass and stuff in them. So we had a steam bath and then we went for a swim and got into like cozy clothes, but they are making our dinner for us. There's an amazing team of like, I think maybe 8 to 10 people, and we're sitting by the fire, and then I think we'll end up like falling asleep pretty early. But yeah, it's definitely like one of the craziest things I've done, and such a cool experience. But yeah, looking forward to maybe getting out of the cave in the morning, I think. Party. Okay. Hugo Cam.
Cave update.
Cave Cam.
It's 4:45
PM.
We've been in our tent for an hour and a half, probably. Feeling quite antisocial because we're tired.
And we are playing Monopoly Deal.
And it's hard to shuffle them because they're so
damp
and moist.
We had the most insane supper, didn't we?
Mm.
And we've been in our tent since about 7 PM, waiting till we feel like it's time to go to sleep. Good morning. It's actually midday and we've left the cave. I actually didn't take my camera with me on our little adventure this morning. We went through all of the caves and the cave systems that we were staying in, which was insane, like absolutely unreal. But yeah, I didn't take the camera. It was a worthwhile night. We went to bed at literally like 8:30. We both woke up at midnight thinking it was the morning. Then took a bit of time to get to sleep again, and then we woke up and went through the caves. Now we're on our way back, and that was actually an epic 24 hours. Actually longer, no? 48 hours? No, 36. Oh, 36 hours. Okay, bye.
But there is someone in your head cutting through the noise. Feel the world disappear. You're on your own. You always have been. You're on your own.
2 hours in, and we've got 2.5 to go, but I think that the second part is going to be harder because we're going into the mountains, whereas the first half has been quite straight and non-hilly. Lots of river crossing, and we've had one injury, but she's okay and she's hurt her knee a little bit. But yeah, 2.5 hours to go. How are you feeling, darling?
Dr. Hugo Jones. Vietnam jungle and cable car.
You're on your own. You're on your own, kid.
Back into the rainforest. You okay?
Did you get that?
I think so. What's going on my hand? Starting the descent. Quite relieved. But quite enjoyed that. Whew. There's only one turn. Okay, my camera might die before we finish the hike, but we are on the descent of the final mountain.
After an hour and a half of ascent.
After an hour and a half of ascent, and I don't think you can tell how sweaty we are, but we are sweaty. It's been amazing, and
highly recommend.
Highly recommend. I'll do a little summary of the hike when my camera's got charge. Bye! Hello from Hanoi. We arrived in Hanoi really late last night after doing our 2-day hike, which was incredible, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it in case you are traveling to Vietnam and would want to do something similar. It was definitely out of our comfort zone. We both are really outdoorsy people, but obviously it's a honeymoon. What you expect from a honeymoon is like chilling by the pool, beaches. But yeah, I think we just wanted to do something that felt really adventurous. A friend of ours had done a 1-day trek with this company, so we found the company and saw their other tours, and we found one called the Hang N 2 cave tour. I think I'll like write it below so that you can look it up for yourself. But basically it's with a company called Oxalis, and we stayed, it's in Phong Nha, which is outside a national park, which is basically a rainforest, like a vast rainforest in Vietnam. And the hike, we did like 2 days, so you do I think like 12k of walking each day, and it's really intense. Like a lot of it is through the rainforest, a lot of it is across rivers, a lot of it's really open, and then you end the first day of the hike in this cave, which for me is very out of my comfort zone. I'm relatively claustrophobic, and yeah, we literally entered the cave at 4 p.m. and they were like, we're not going outside again till midday tomorrow, because we spent the next morning exploring the cave, and that felt like whew, for me. But the hiking was insane, absolutely breathtaking, and the campsite was beautiful. I've posted some photos on my Instagram, which I will share here or here. And so we had 14 people on our tour. It was probably an expensive thing to do. It was, I think, about £350, but for what you get, it's such good value. There's a huge team that goes into this. You have porters to carry your stuff, so you have one backpack which has your water and stuff you want throughout the day, and then there are porters that carry all your stuff for overnight and for the next day to the campsite and back again. There's a whole kitchen team, there's a whole team looking after the campsite. It has to be, the cave has to be like protected 24/7, so there's always someone sleeping there, which is kind of crazy. And they have steam bar, so when we got there they had created this steam room essentially with lemongrass and loads of fresh Vietnamese herbs. The food was incredible, like really insane how they prepare and cook that quality of food in the middle of the jungle, in the middle of a cave. So yeah, the first day was really fun. Then we arrived, we had like a couple of hours. You could go swimming, you could go in the steam bath, and then we had an early dinner, and Hugo and I basically played cards and went to bed at like 8, which did mean we woke up at like 12. And at that point I was a little bit, you know when it's the middle of the night and you're just overthinking because you can't go back to sleep. I was just like, oh god, is a rock gonna, I was having like intrusive thoughts of the fact that I was in a cave and I was sleeping in a cave, and I was like, is a giant rock gonna fall on my head? But it was fine. I was awake for about an hour and then managed to get back to sleep. And then on the second day we had a breakfast at 7, I think, so we woke up at 6:30, and then we went straight out at 8. And well, we didn't go out, we basically explored the entire cave system, which took us 2 or 3 hours, and it is insane. I see why people are obsessed with caves. It was crazy, like beautiful. There's loads of crystal salt formations from when the water used to come through, loads of fossils. It was really, really cool, so I actually ended up loving that. And then we got back to the campsite where we'd slept and had an early lunch at like 11, and again the food was incredible. And then we packed up our stuff and left the cave, and it was so nice to see daylight. And then we trekked back, and the trek back was definitely harder than the first trek. Firstly because it had been raining quite a lot, so the water was quite high, but then also the bit through the jungle, because basically the cave is in the middle of the park, and then there's lots of mountains either side of it, so you have to cross the mountains to get in, across the mountains to get out. And the hike at the end was definitely the hardest, and also we had a lot of leeches. I actually had 2 on my hands. Oh god, it makes me itch to think about. Loads of people had loads on their feet. I actually got really lucky. Hugo had a couple, but they're fine. You just spray alcohol on them and they fall off. But yeah, it's pretty gross. And then yeah, we'd left our suitcases and everything and all of our laptops and passports at the reception of the company, which was really trustworthy and safe and reliable. And then we literally had a quick pho and then got in the car to Hoi An, and that's where we are now. So the first bit of the trip has been quite like a whirlwind. We had 3 days in Hanoi, then went to Ninh Binh, and then went to Phong Nha, and now we're in Hoi An for 3 days, and we just spent, it's about 12 right now, we've just spent the morning chilling. We're gonna do a bit of exploring, but the next part of the honeymoon is definitely a bit more chilled and slow. It's really nice to just sit by the pool and read this morning. But I'm going to show you a few things that I bought in Hanoi. I'm not going to show you all because some of it's wrapped and I don't want to unwrap it, but we did actually quite a lot of shopping. So first thing is this, which is Hugo and I think I've talked about on my YouTube. Well, Hugo is making us bone broth literally every week at the moment. He's really good at it, and I feel like it's really helping our immune systems through the winter. And we're getting, well, he's definitely getting quite nerdy about it, so being in Vietnam with all the pho is really inspiring. But this, you basically put aromatics into, like herbs into, and then you can hang it on the side of the saucepan, so that goes into the broth and that hangs on the side, which is genius. I mean, obviously it's just like a classic staple in the kitchens here. And then another thing we bought is this ladle, again for a similar purpose, but it's stainless steel, but it's just got really nice detailing on the actual ladle. And then we bought this, but I don't really know what we use it for, but just really like it. Might buy a couple more of these. We're going back to Hoi An at the end, Hanoi, sorry. And then we bought quite a hilarious bunch of stuff we're bringing back. We bought this kettle, which again is stainless steel and just really beautifully made, and I love that. And then I actually, at the beginning, so when we left for Vietnam, we left Scotland with my family, and we actually ended up leaving a day early because Scotland, where we're from, is quite prone to like really intense weather. And on the day before we were supposed to leave, there were huge storms and the power went out and everything was a bit chaotic. We actually ended up driving to Wales instead of flying from Aberdeen to Manchester to avoid any flight cancellations, because if we'd had our first flight cancelled or delayed, we would have missed our flight to Vietnam. So we ended up driving basically through the night. But before we left, we had our last wash of clothes in the washing machine, and in the storm and in the power cut, the washing machine was trapped shut, and my parents both were so sweet with trying to help us get the washing machine open. There was nothing that anyone could do to get it open, so loads of our underwear was in there, loads of my t-shirts. I had this really nice Mad Happy tracksuit which they'd sent me and I was going to travel in, and I'm not really a tracksuit person, so I was like so excited to be traveling in my new tracksuit. But that was all stuck in the washing machine. So actually when we got to Hanoi, there was a big Uniqlo, and I would not usually vouch for shopping in Uniqlo, especially somewhere as amazing as Vietnam, but it was really helpful. So we got underwear, a few basics, and I actually ended up buying this cargo-y skirt, which is mid-calf length, and I don't know, I feel like these have a name. I feel like they're quite yeah, so it's called Easy Cargo Skirt, but it's quite Y2K. It's got a nice pocket. I haven't actually worn it yet. I also bought a pair of parachute trousers, which I've had loads of comments on Instagram. They are in the laundry at the moment at the hotel, but I think they're just called parachute trousers, but I love them, and I'm gonna buy another pair of them when we go back to Hanoi. And then we went to a vintage shop and I bought this pinky salmon sweatshirt, which is a really nice shape, and love that. I did not expect to do clothes shopping in Hanoi. And then the last thing, and I bought a couple of t-shirts at Uniqlo as well, which are also in the wash. I also bought in a vintage shop these Lee dungarees, which if you follow me for a while you'll know I'm a dungaree obsessive. And I actually have a really nice pair that Lee sent me this year in denim, and although these are vintage, I feel like their shape of dungarees probably hasn't changed much since they made them like this. So yeah, these are literally just white dungarees. I think they were really cheap, which is amazing. And then I think that's it. But yeah, I'm gonna end the first Vietnam video now before we enter into the second section of the trip. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and at the end of the second vlog I will do a bit of recommendations, what we do differently, what we do again. And yeah, freaking love Vietnam, and I can't wait to keep exploring. And I'll see you soon.